Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for Transforming Your Corporate Workplace Experience with Indoor Intelligence, presented by Imaginet and Jibestream. Imaginet is an app development firm that builds custom applications for organizations leveraging Jibestream's indoor mapping and location platform to merge business data with indoor maps. During this session, you'll hear from Imaginet's Head of Marketing and COO, Becky Madison-Kier, and Jibestream's VP of Sales, Dave Johnson, on how you can leverage digital innovation and indoor intelligence to transform your workplace into a smarter, more dynamic space.
So there's a reason most of you are on this call. The corporate workplace has changed significantly over the past decade, and the changes aren't going to be slowing down anytime soon. Corporate campuses continue to get bigger. Offices are sprawling across not just cities and states, but countries. And it's creating real challenges for employees, visitors, and ultimately management. More and more employees are remote and need to travel from one campus to another, each time dealing with a new unfamiliar space. Visitors and clients feel lost when they try to navigate your office. A stale and disconnected corporate facility keeps your team from performing at their best. As your team becomes more mobile and digitized, employees expect immediate access to the resources they need to get their jobs done so they can work collaboratively and efficiently. So how do you transform your corporate workplace experience? How do you turn it into a place that delights your employees and visitors? How do you create an office that attracts and retains the best talent without adding a water slide or an open bar? How do you create a workplace as agile as your development framework with digital innovation and indoor intelligence? Today, Becky and I, Jibestream and Imaginet, will provide insight in how indoor intelligence plays a crucial role in that transformation of your workplace by merging your business data with our indoor maps. This is going to allow you to create a dynamic and integrated workplace that drives up productivity while providing you the insights to drive efficiency in operations. Becky and I are going to focus on looking at this from three perspectives today. From the employee, from the visitor and guest, and my personal favorite, from the business side. So I'm going to pass the ball over to you, Becky, to start walking us through.
Excellent. Thanks, Dave. So now we're going to walk through our first scenario where we're going to focus on how a corporate app with indoor intelligence can actually benefit the employee. So specifically in this scenario, we're going to cover some common cases like amenity searches, enhanced conference room booking, hot desk booking, and also seamless integrations to existing business systems. So this is Mo. He works at a corporate office in Paris, France. And on the right is Lucy. She works at the corporate division located in the UK. And both Mo and Lucy are going to be traveling to their corporate headquarters in New York City. When they arrive, they know that they will require 2 desks from which to work and a meeting room in order to present their big ideas. Not a problem at all. Lucy's going to open the mobile version of their corporate app, and she starts by looking for the perfect meeting room to reserve. Now, Lucy's got several considerations that she needs to take into account when booking this room. First, the room has to have a projector to share their presentation. It also needs to have a whiteboard to brainstorm with team members. And the room needs to be able to accommodate 12 people. So after Lucy checks for a good date and time when the meeting participants are all available, she can use the corporate app to search to see what meeting rooms are available that meet her requirements. And she actually finds the perfect space that has everything that she needs, and that's conference room 1. From there, Lucy then sets up a dial-in number for Carlos, another coworker who will be dialing in for the meeting. She's going to send meeting invites to all the meeting attendees with the necessary details, and now she's ready to reserve the meeting room. Notice that Lucy even has an option during this process to send herself instructions for how to get to the building where her meeting is being held. Remember, this meeting is going to be in New York, and she's not familiar with that corporate campus. So that way, when she lands at the airport, she can be given turn-by-turn navigation instructions on her corporate app so she will know exactly where to go. Finally, she copies Mo on the confirmation so that he knows that they're all set and reserves the conference room. Now that the big meeting room is booked, Mo and Lucy need to reserve a space from which to work for the remainder of their time in New York. In other words, they need to reserve a hot desk. Mo messages with Lucy using the corporate app to see if she has any hot desk preferences. In his corporate mobile app, Mo looks for 2 desks to reserve for the dates that they will be there. Now, Mo has a few considerations as well when booking these desks. He'd like to find a really quiet area, an area that has natural light, 2 seats in proximity to each other, and he'd like for these hot desks to be near the rest of their team. So looking at the floor plan of the office, he's able to see the layout of the corporate headquarters and is able to pick 2 suitable workstations and confirms the hot desk booking. Later that week, Mo and Lucy fly to their corporate headquarters in New York City, and they are super relaxed because they know that everything is already set up for their business trip. Upon their arrival in New York, the corporate app makes it really easy because Mo and Lucy receive a notification in their app with navigation from the airport to their office, making the start of their trip super smooth. And here's the best part of this story. Because Mo and Lucy are so relaxed from this seamless process, they ace their presentation and their project gets funded. So Dave, let me actually pass it back over to you because I'd love for you to summarize some of the key features that we saw in this first employee scenario.
Thanks, Becky. And I'll pass it back to you in a minute to go through the end benefits. But
Sure.
let's talk about those core features. So what you saw Mo and Lucy experience are an amenity search. You know, what is in the room, what's available. Enhanced room booking, being able to add the web conference directly to that so Carlos had his dial in. Hot desking. So not just knowing that there's a desk somewhere on a floor that they could go wander and hopefully find, and if they're lucky, there's stuff they need, you know, like a phone, an internet connection, but actually being able to book it and for the right time. And probably the biggest feature across all of these, and why Jibestream works with partners like Imaginet, is the seamless integration between all of those areas. You had systems, everything from Crestron to Google to, heck, even Uber, all tied together in a seamless manner in that app. So I'm going to let you talk about the benefits, Becky.
Sure. So yeah, as Dave said, there's really some of the key features that we saw in this scenario. But the question you have is, how do these features really translate into benefits for your employees? And when there's actually 3 big benefits. Benefit number 1 is increased employee satisfaction and retention. With the powerful combination of the digital innovation of the corporate app with the indoor intelligence, you can create a really motivating and productive workplace that will inspire employees and, most importantly, retain the best talent. Benefit number 2 is improved workplace efficiencies. I'm sure you noticed in this first scenario how this corporate mobile app created an integrated work environment designed to quickly respond to the fast-changing demands and needs of their employees. Whether it's needing a conference room, a hot desk, they were able to do it all instantly. And benefit number 3 is enhanced productivity and collaboration. When you create a dynamic and connected environment, you will witness vast improvements in employee collaboration and productivity, just like we saw in scenario 1. So now let's explore a second scenario. This time we're going to take on a different perspective, that of a visitor to your corporate campus. So specifically in this scenario, we're going to cover amenity searches for visitors, indoor turn-by-turn navigation, intelligent parking, and also targeted messages for visitors. So now let's meet Amy. Amy is interviewing for a job at your company at your corporate campus. Amy has been given a link to download your corporate app to make her visit to your corporate campus as smooth as possible. On the day of her interview, Amy gets a reminder about her upcoming meeting on the corporate app. she gets a notification message that she will need to leave 20 minutes in order to arrive at her destination in time for her interview. She uses the corporate app to see where she should park once she arrives. The company is integrated with an intelligent parking system, so it shows historical parking information based on day and time. She then finds the closest visitor lot to where her interview is taking place. Amy heads off for her interview and follows the directions provided by the corporate app. She follows the navigations with absolutely no problems and pulls into the parking lot right on schedule for her interview. She arrives at the visitor center where her interview is going to be taking place, and she pulls into the parking spot. She is prompted by the corporate app to save her parking location so she can remember where she parked. And I don't know if anyone else has ever gone on an unfamiliar corporate campus for an interview or maybe as a client, but if you ever lose your parking location, it's so confusing to remember where you park. So this is a great feature. And she absolutely says yes to saving her parking spot. Conveniently, she's also given options on next logical steps. For example, she might want directions to the visitor center lobby so she can check in, or maybe to the cafe if she needs a caffeine perk before her interview, or perhaps to a restroom in case she drank too much coffee. It's important to note that because Amy is a visitor, she can only see destinations that the corporate app has been granted for her to see. So Amy has 15 minutes, so she selects the cafe option for a quick pick-me-up coffee. Once she's had her coffee, she is shown turn-by-turn directions to the visitor center front desk from the cafe. When she enters the building, she crosses what's called a geofence, and that triggers a greeting. The greeting message welcomes her to the corporate offices and lets her know that where she needs to go to sign in at the front desk. So Amy checks in, and she still has 5 minutes before her interview. And she's thinking, perhaps a run to the restroom isn't such a bad idea. So she goes back to the corporate app and searches for nearby restrooms. She's shown on the map where they are and follows the turn-by-turn directions to get there. In other words, Amy is definitely not getting lost. And the best part of this story is that Amy has a great interview. She arrived on time, she conveniently found where she needed to go, and she was more than ready for her interview. Now she's ready to go home. As she leaves the building, she exits the geofence, which triggers a visitor survey regarding her interview experience. And as a bonus, they're even offering her a $5 coffee card. So as you can see, she can make it back to her car and then continue home from there. Super easy. So Dave, I'm going to pass it back over to you, and let's summarize some of the big key features that we saw in this visitor scenario.
Thanks, Becky. And there was a lot covered in that scenario. So just to go back to the top, visitor management. Make it easy for them to locate and find the amenities, the points of interest, without having to go to that front desk every single time. Make sure you don't have a line up there. Indoor navigation. Give that visitor, that could be a tradesperson, could be a client, the ability to navigate around your office. My personal favorite, and I've used this many times, intelligent parking. Let them know where the right spot is, especially when you're dealing with a campus where there's an east lot, a west lot, a north lot, a visitor lot. Making sure they know, and when you've been in an office building for 12 hours like any normal person, finding where your car is. And then targeted messaging. Understand and give that ability, whether it's when they're in proximity to the front desk or when they pass a geofence, getting the right message at the right time. So Becky, you want to talk about the benefits?
Absolutely. So these features translate into a number of benefits for the visitors. So benefit number one is absolutely delighting your corporate visitors. Imagine the impression that you're going to make when you inspire and delight your on-site visitors by making it easier than ever to discover and to navigate your corporate workplace. Benefit number 2 is you're going to save time for everybody. That means saving time and reducing frustrations by not having your visitors get lost within an unfamiliar corporate workplace. And this saves time for both the visitor as well as the interviewer and everyone else involved in that process. And benefit number 3 is attracting the best talent. With the great combination of the digital innovation and indoor intelligence, you can attract the best prospective new employees with a modern corporate workplace experience even before they're hired. So it sets an amazing first impression with your recruits.
Perfect, Becky. Sign me up.
Absolutely, Dave.
So now I'm going to look at how all this stuff gets paid for. I'm going to take the management perspective. So we've seen a lot between Amy, Mo, and Lucy. And just to kind of remind you, we've looked at the amenities search. We've looked at enhanced room booking, hot desking, indoor navigation, geofence and proximity messaging, intelligent parking. And there's one feature here that kind of powers everything. And that's map profile, because everything we've seen today is visualized on a map. So why is this so important? Well, let's talk about room booking first. This gives you the information on how that space is being utilized. I can tell you, as management, the room that's got the best heating and cooling, has the best equipment in it, books up first all the time. I have people come and tell me, oh, we need more space. Well, do you actually need more space, or is it to better utilize the space you have? Square footage is expensive. If you remember, Mo and Lucy were going to New York. It's not that easy to go add in another floor. So make sure you're getting the most out of that. Enhanced hot desking. Employees love this because they can go plan their day and they know exactly what to expect when they get to that desk. I love this, and management loves this, because your employee who's already flown in from Paris or London, or coming in for their 1 day a week to go fill out their orders from an hour away, isn't spending 30 minutes walking around the office trying to find a desk instead of doing what they're supposed to be doing. This is about getting that utilization. It's avoiding the bottlenecks that frustrate your team. It's saving resources and creating and keeping happy employees. Indoor navigation. This is what you normally think about, Google's Blue Dot. Comes down to the fact that a lost employee isn't a happy employee. And we want our teams working, not walking. We've all seen that guy or girl running around the office going, where's room 85B? Am I in the right building? It's wasting resources. And at the same time, this indoor navigation is for your clients. Get them to the restroom, get them to the right meeting room. Or if you have tradespeople coming in, where's copier 857642? Be able to wayfind them to the right location and save time and generate efficiencies. Same thing goes with your heating and cooling. I can speak for myself, but I have a Nest in my house to go monitor the heating and cooling. You have the same in your building. Understand the traffic patterns. Understand where this is happening and visualize it on a map. That way you're not cooling an empty space or accidentally heating up a packed meeting room. Now, you saw these different maps through Amy's experience. What a visitor sees, what an employee sees, what security sees. Have one map that scales, and that's what we call map profiles. With Jibestream, the visitor, the employee, the guest sees the right information. From an efficiency standpoint, remember, each floor is a map. So if you have 7 buildings, 10 buildings, 50 buildings, each with, let's say, 6 floors. I'll let somebody else do the math, but I know that's a lot of maps. And if they're not updated and managed, that's stale data. That's where map profiles comes in. So Becky, you want to do this one together?
Absolutely.
Okay. So let's talk about the benefits.
Very good. And, you know, if you look across all three scenarios that Dave and I covered today, the employee scenario, the visitor scenario, and the corporate scenario, you're going to notice three overarching benefits that span all three. The first is really delight. When you delight your employees and when you delight your visitors, and really when you delight anyone who has experience with your corporate app with Indoor Intelligence, this makes for a happier corporate workplace that results in easier hiring and better employee and staff retention. And ultimately, that saves you money as a corporation in the end. Secondly, optimize. When you optimize your workplace and you're optimizing your employee performance, this leads to optimized results for the corporation as a whole. And this includes improving efficiencies, reducing waste, and ultimately saving money. And finally, all of these benefits result in huge savings. You save time, you save frustrations, and you save money. And that helps to make your organization healthier for everybody. So in other words, you can save money and make more money by digitally innovating your workplace with Imaginet's corporate app development and Jibestream's Indoor Intelligence. Do you want to tell them about the workshop, Dave?
But if you're ready to transform your corporate workplace experience with Indoor Intelligence, Imaginet and Jibestream are offering you a free discovery workshop where you can discover how indoor mapping and location technology can benefit your organization. At the end of this workshop, you're going to receive a free roadmap with the steps to get you there. Just email us at info@jibestream.com to get your workshop scheduled today.